following is a presentation of Payoff Pitch Baseball. In some cases, rather. Don't know if anybody's going to join me tonight, but this is Robert from RJL 518, welcoming you here to, a little bit of a review. We just completed the restart actual season before we get into the playoffs. So really, I'm here to show a few things if possible. If anybody's interested to, talk about how the season gone, go over maybe a review of some of the regular season games we had. Nothing really, nothing important. We start the postseason tomorrow. The American League wild card playoff features the Seattle Mariners versus the Baltimore Orioles, and then on Wednesday we'll have the National League wild card playoff between the San Francisco Giants and the Houston Astros. What a whole bunch of great games we just had, pretty much ever since I started playing Payoff Pitch Baseball. Been keeping everything in the books, constructing my own. Constructing my own score sheets and everything like that. So no game to play tonight, so hopefully maybe somebody will join in and we can talk for a little bit. Let's see here. Hopefully we can, maybe somebody would like to talk. Anybody could just say hello. That's all it is, really. Just a restart review. If anybody would like to join me and just say hello, we can talk about a couple of things here. I'm not going to be online for long. Just want to say hello and thank you very much for everybody that was out there to join me in the Payoff Pitch restart that I did. It's done. The regular season is completed. And so now we have playoffs to talk about, which is going to be, I think, a lot of fun. We're going to get some real good playoff action. And, if anybody wants to say hello, please do. Not going to be on chat for long. Just maybe want to go over some of the games we had so far in the restart. Take a look what we think maybe what were the most exciting games. What were the games that were boring, games that were, that were just really kind of went meh, and some games, if anybody has anything to say, that's all. Not maybe see if anybody's out there and would like to say hello. Hope everybody is well and safe on this Monday evening. And so, let's take a look here at the book here. This is the book I'm using to write all the games down. So take a look at some of the games we played before we did the restart, like the Black Cat series between the September the 1969 Black Cat series from the Chicago Cubs and the New York Mets. And the Cubs won pretty much both those games. I tried to play the Mets as hard as I could, but the dice went a different way, and I was still learning, of course, the system then. So, the first game, the Cubs blew the Mets out 10-4. Tom Seaver had a horrible game. There was this one. Here's the first crazy game of the entire the first crazy game I played as Payoff Pitch. In 69 Chicago Cubs and the Mets, and that game went 18 innings. That's the one where, it went, the Cubs got out to a start, and then the Cubs scored 5 runs in the top of the 13th and scored 5 runs in the bottom of the 13th, which was nuts. Cubs won it in the 18th inning, top of the 18th, to finally come away with the victory. Then we did a New York Yankees Boston Red Sox 2019, the series in London. 5-3 win for the Yankees, and a 4-3 win for Boston the next day. Then I did a couple of runner-up series. 1969, the two teams that didn't make the World Series, the Atlanta Braves and the Minnesota Twins, instead of the New York Mets and the Baltimore Orioles. And we see here a couple of good matchups here. Minnesota, Atlanta won the second game. Here was the crazy one here in Game 3 when the series was tied 1-1. Minnesota scores 6 in the top of the 9th inning. And beats the Braves, and then the Braves score 4 in the bottom of the 9th inning, almost tie this game up and make it 10-9. And then pretty much, then the next game, this might have been the biggest blowout of the entire runner-up series, of maybe the biggest blowout I've ever played, where Minnesota just destroyed Atlanta 15-3. They were just scoring runs, scored 2, 4, 5, 4, and then here against Minnesota and landed the final game 3-2. Then we did another runner-up series with the St. Louis Cardinals and the Yankees. The Yankees pretty much took care of the Cardinals. The Cardinals did win a game, barely. They won a game on a sacrifice fly in the 10th inning in game number 3 here. And the Yankees took that. And then then I thought about what we should do for a restart, for the season, because I had all the seasons come in by Payoff Pitch, and I said, well, if I want to do a season replay, do I want to start with a replay or do I want to start with something? And I was looking at Baseball Reference and saw the 1994 season. I said, you know what? We never finished that season. We never finished 1994. We never did. So why doesn't somebody finish the 1994 season before we do anything else? Before we do a full season replay, why don't we finish a season that was, never finished? So that's where I came up with the 1994 restart. And, we got, I started with a couple of preseason games. People wondering why I started preseason. I said I just wanted to get a little bit of the flow of 1990s baseball. It's a little different than modern day baseball, where pitchers only pitch maybe 5 or 6 innings. Still in the 90s, or pitching 7 innings, 8 innings, a little different. Started with the Mets and Yankees, and we did a White Sox Cubs. And then we did a San Diego Seattle. The San Diego Padres, that was the other team that actually really didn't get a chance to play in the regular restart. They never did. It was a good thing I did put them in a preseason game, and I counted that actually in the standings, even though I really shouldn't have. But San Diego never got an opportunity to play in the restart. That's the other team. And Tribe Fan 879 joins me. Welcome, Tribe Fan. This is a chat. Talk to me. We're just reviewing a little bit of the restart we just did. The playoffs will start tomorrow. American League wildcard playoff, Seattle versus Baltimore. Randy Johnson versus Mike Mussina. That's going to be a lot of fun to play. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm taking a day off, just a break. I thought we'd check some of the best games we played in the restart regular season. Looking through some of them, like they're all dated. This is the scorebook I'm using. I thought it was well done too. I thought I did a very good job. No computer. I know some people were telling me, well, let's go ahead and use Replay Baseball, or use Out of the Park, or use Action. I said, I don't want a computer to go ahead and decide. I really don't. This is a cards and dice game. Why don't we let cards and dice decide what happens? So that's why I decided to use the quick results charts from 1994. Quick results from thing here. I know the 10-minute ticker thing I thought would be great. Everybody could see everything in the background. Hey Brandon, welcome. It is a day off. I'm just talking. Just chat with me for a little bit. I'll be online just for a little bit. We're taking the day off. No baseball. Tomorrow we'll have the American League playoff, Seattle at Baltimore. And, so I have the 94 season quick results. Here's the 1921, which we're doing with Anthony from Bleacher Bums Gaming, as he does the Yankees, and Ruth in 21. I'm doing the Cardinals, Hornsby, and the National League. I thought we'd review just a few of the games that I played. I mean, just using a regular spiral bound rope book. My scoring is as best as I can make it. Not too bad. It's pretty neat as I can get it. We started with Houston and Atlanta on August 12th, 94, which is about a month and a half ago. And Houston actually came away with that game. And we did a Toronto Yankees game. This was a 10-8 matchup, 29 hits in this game. I'm not sure. I think that might have been the most hits in any game. Messed up here. So I had to go here. Texas, Kansas City. I always had the American League games on this side. National League games are on this. So make it easier for me to catch. Rick Vaughn joins me here today. Yes, yes, Rick Vaughn. And a heck of a game yesterday, Rick. Welcome. A heck of a game yesterday between the Tigers and the Mariners. Really unbelievable game. I really thought the Mariners were done. We'll get to that in a little bit. Matter of fact, let's, he brought it up. So, here's Detroit and Seattle. I really yesterday. I've done a number of exciting games in Payoff Pitch. Number of exciting ones. This may have ranked up there, maybe near the top, maybe the number one, maybe number 2 or 3. I mean, I had so many good ones. We'll get to some of them as I'm reviewing the regular season. Well, I mean, Detroit, Seattle. Detroit got out 3-0 lead. Then Seattle made it 3-2. Then Detroit gets up again, makes it 6-2. And I'm thinking, and then of course we get to the 7th, and the 7th inning is when I did the 10-minute ticker, and that's when we find out the Minnesota Twins beat the Rangers. And I said, okay, well, and here I am talking. If you rewatch the game, you'll hear me say, well, looks like we'll be getting for a game 163 on Monday. But apparently the Seattle Mariners had other plans. They had other plans. 2 errors here by Detroit. These were huge. These 2 errors were huge. They were big. They were gigantic. It gave Seattle 2 extra outs. They gave the M's 2 extra outs, and then Ken Griffey Jr. with that unbelievable grand slam, which I didn't think that was really coming. I didn't think the dice was going to roll that way. You're right, Brandon. Kid Griffey. You know what? Ken Griffey Jr., you know what? He finished with 660 some odd home runs, 680 home runs. You know what? I still say if Ken Griffey Jr. does not get injured as a Red, he hits 800. I think he hits 800 home runs. He was such a good home run hitter. I think he was, say what you want about Barry Bonds, but, and Barry Bonds, if he wasn't injured I agree with you, Brandon. Exactly. Steroid-free home runs, he would have belted 800, no problem, and he would be the home run king. He had the best swing in baseball history, period. I mean, the only other guy, and I'm a little biased on it as Darryl Strawberry, as a Mets fan, Darryl Strawberry had a beautiful swing too. He had a beautiful swing. Darryl Strawberry had a gorgeous home run swing. Maybe the second best swing in baseball history, but Ken Griffey, I give it to him. Absolutely. May have been one of the most exciting, maybe up there, definitely ranked up there as some of the most exciting games. Let's see. How about here? This game here, Chicago. This wasn't too bad. Some games are snoozers. Like here's a Cincinnati and Houston, 8-1. All right. Eric Hansen in this game just blew the Reds away on that one. Let's go back to the beginning here a little bit. Lots of extra inning games early. We had a lot of extra inning games early in the restart, and then we kind of tailed off a little bit. Didn't get as many after that. We finished, I think, with 12 extra inning games out of the 50 I played. That's quite a bit. Here was a good one here. Texas, Kansas City, early 2-1 win for the Royals. Atlanta beating Houston here. Kansas City. John Olerud, yep, another beautiful, great swing. John Olerud, another underrated player in history. Kansas City beating the Yankees. Cincinnati, Philadelphia. Here was another extra inning game. The Boston Red Sox and the Chicago White Sox, as the Red Sox went ahead and got in there. Montreal pounded Houston in this one, 8-1. Here was a good matchup. This was a good one. Baltimore, Kansas City, 9-8. That one went 13 innings, where Baltimore scored 1 in the top of the 13th, and the Royals scored 2 in the bottom of the 13th. That was an exciting matchup. Marlins beating the Dodgers over here. The Yankees beating the Royals in a rematch here again. 11 innings. Kansas City scored 1 in the top of the 11th. The Yankees scored 2 in the bottom of the 11th to win that one. Houston beating the Mets. The Astros beating the Mets over here. Another extra inning game between the White Sox and the Orioles. Reds were excellent. They Reds finished with a 6-2. I believe it was 6-2. Let me see here real quick. I'll check. Hold on here. I have all my information in front of me. Let me get the stats here. Cincinnati Reds had the best payoff pitch record, 6 wins and 1 loss. They had the best payoff pitch record, 6-1. So I played them 7 games and they won 6. Kansas City had a good payoff pitch record too. They were 6-3 in payoff pitch. They were pair pitch. The worst team with the worst payoff pitch record, and I'm not. And although I can count a couple of teams that didn't win a game, like the Mets were 0-2, Pittsburgh, San Diego 0-1. Believe it or not, the worst payoff pitch record belonged to the Yankees. They were 2-6. The Yankees had the worst payoff pitch record of among most games played. Played 8 games, they only won 2 of them. So Atlanta had a good record. They were 4-1. Baltimore was 4-1. The White Sox 3-6. Cleveland only got played 5 times. They were 3-2. Cleveland had the best overall restart record. They were 35-14 with payoff pitch combined with quick results. They were 35-14. They had the best overall record in the restart. The team with the worst overall record was the Angels at 16-31. They were awful. The Yankees were 29-20. Houston was 31-16. Salvador America joins me. Welcome, my brother. Just a kind of a little reef. Chicago Cubs went 23-26 in overall, which is not bad. Really wasn't bad compared to some of the other teams. We only had them once in payoff pitch. They were 0-1. So we only did the Cubs once. The only reason why I only had the Cubs was because they really didn't figure. I wanted to play teams that were in the playoff hunt. I really did want to do that. Although normally when I do a replay, I guarantee you when I do the first couple of months of a replay, every team is going to get seen at least twice, because I'm going to do it a certain way where every team in a replay will get seen. Then as we go to the further months like June, July, August, September, I'm going to weed out the teams that are no longer in the playoff hunt and stick with the teams that are, because you want to play the best games. You want to play the best games when you do this. When you do something like this, you don't want to play. I mean, come on. Last day of the regular season. Do I really? I mean, do I really want to? Do I really want to play a game between the San Diego Padres and the St. Louis Cardinals? Nah. You want to play the best game on the board, and now. I'll tell you, yesterday, I was very, very tempted to quick play, all right, in a non-broadcast style like I do the 1921 Cardinals. I was tempted to do the Minnesota-Texas game. Very tempted. I really did not know if I wanted to let that, because that game was very important, and I really did not know if I wanted the dice to relay it. But I had already played golf for quick play. Just quick. What is quick play? Quick play is like how I do if you've watched any of my Cardinals 1921 series, I do that without going through the fanfare of a broadcast. Roll the dice. That's it. Write it down. Next batter. Roll the dice. That's it. Without going through all the hype and everything that I do for a broadcast game, like I do for the 1994 series. So I was thinking really and it was going to get streamed. I would have streamed it, but I would have streamed it in a quiet format just to get that game on the board. And even though it turned out the way it did, I kind of feel like I missed an opportunity with that. The next time it comes to time, I might do a double and a half header, something like that. So, who else did well? Atlanta was 32-16 in overall. The Orioles were 30-20. Boston was 20-27. The thing is, if we actually started the season now, if we started at opening day with this, and we have the records here, the funny thing is, the Atlanta Braves would be first place in the National League East at 32-16. Montreal 31-17, and the surprise team has definitely got to be the Florida Marlins. They were 27-20. The Marlins were very good for the restart. 27-20. They would have been 4 games behind the Astros for second. So Marlins, very good for a team that was not that awesome. They had some very good results in quick play. Unfortunately, we only did the Marlins 1 game and they won. The Houston Astros got played the most. The Astros got played the most. They got 13 games, the Astros. No problem, Brandon. Gotta run. Might be back. It'll be good. I mean, I'm not on. I'm not gonna be on for long. This is just kind of a review. Go through some of the games and a little chat with you guys. I want to thank every. I want to. I want to thank all. I want to thank everybody here for joining me for the chat and joining me for the restart. Getting a lot of fanfare from you. Thank you very much. All because of you guys. One of the reasons why I upgraded my camera, upgraded certain things. So um, you know, and so I mean the White Sox were 28-20. That's one of the reasons why Cleveland won the National League Central, because the White Sox actually led the division at the start of the restart. Minnesota actually was above 500 for the restart. They were 27-22. They were a surprise. Texas was awful. Texas actually led Oakland by about a half a game when I started the restart. Oakland went 23-25, only 2 games under 500 with quick result and payoff pitch. Texas was awful, 17-31. They were terrible. And that one game, and they went 1-1-3. Now, the thing about, I was mentioning about the Astros, Houston, Houston went ahead and was 4-9. They had the most games played. Philip Reynolds joins me. Welcome, sir. Welcome. Just doing just a good review, a quick review here. Houston had the most games played on payoff pitch, 13. Mostly because the schedule that the Astros had, was, outstanding. I mean, they had Houston, Montreal. The Montreal beat them in the game. I just couldn't stay away from the Astros, not because, and not because, Steeler fan, was a big Astros fan, everything, because he loved his Stros and everything. But as Houston just had the most big games to play. They really were. I mean, yeah, so most of the games were great. Let me tell you something. Houston here loses to Philadelphia. Some of the games Houston lost in payoff pitch were bad. Here's a bad loss to a Philadelphia Phillies team. They lost this game 5-3. Let's see here. Houston loses to Atlanta 3-1 here. Here's a bad loss. Houston losing to San Francisco. San Francisco beat the Astros 7-4. That's a bad loss. I mean, some of the games that occurred, like I said, were unbelievable. I mean, and the funny thing about the Mariners, talk about the Mariners getting into the playoffs. You remember this. I mean, here's yesterday's game between Detroit and Seattle, where they go ahead and win this game in the bottom of the 7th, really with a 5-run blast by Griffey. That same week, remember, earlier in that week, the White Sox played Seattle, and the White Sox, were winning that game, and then Seattle scored a run in the 8th and then scored a run in the 10th to win that game 5-4. Seattle won 2 big games this week in payoff pitch play. Mariners were just unbelievable. That was a team of destiny for the week. That certainly was. Did the Yankees-Boston. Only reason why I did a Yankee-Boston game was because, well, it's Yankees-Boston. Got to do a Yankees-Red Sox game no matter what the year is. All right. The thing about it, at least in 1921, I don't have to worry about that when I do in the 1921 season I'm doing, because Anthony from Bleachers Bum Gaming, he's playing the Yankees, so you'll get all the Yankees-Red Sox games on his channel. On mine, you're going to get all the Cardinals games on my channel for 1921. And we're both doing that season. It's going slow, but that's all right. I told him it's at his pace. I'm in no rush. I don't care if that takes a year or 2 to complete. I'm in no rush with it. But when we get done with the 1994 playoffs, I'll be asking you guys to help me choose the next season. And it's going to be a selection show, and it's going to be a little in-depth. We're not just going to say, oh, here's the season we're going to do next. Nope. We're going to do it a certain way. I've already decided how I want to do it, and decide what next season we're going to do for primetime action. And I'll tell you which seasons are going to be available and which seasons will not be available. But then, of course, Cincinnati. Then, of course, this 3-game series, Cincinnati-Houston. I did not expect the Reds to sweep the Astros all 3 games. I did not see that coming. Cincinnati beating Houston 9-7, although they crushed them early, and then the Astros put 5 in the 6th. Then they crush them again. Then they do crush them in the next game, 8-1, as Eric Hansen had a hell of a game that night. And then last night, Jose Rio, just dominated again, and the Astros got shut out 2-0. Only got 2 hits in that game. So when we open the voting, not until we complete the playoffs. We're not going to talk next season until we are done with the 1994 postseason. So, and you guys will help me decide what that is. And it's going to be and we're going to do I'm going to do voting, yes, but I'm going to need you guys on a chat to do that. You'll see how we'll do it. And it concerns right now these cards are blank, but it concerns a deck of blank cards. This is the same card stock that you get from Payoff Pitch. Sometimes the cards you get from like the fringe player sets are blank. I've decided to keep these because they could be very useful, and they're going to be used as they'll be season selection cards, something like that maybe. Bleacher Bums Gaming joins me. We're just talking about you, Anthony. Welcome, sir. Welcome. We're just talking about you. Just talking about you. Nothing but good things, I promise. Nothing but good things. Just a little review. Just a little review of the season, how it went. Anthony, if you didn't catch my doubleheader last night, please. If you didn't catch my doubleheader last night for Detroit and Seattle and Cincinnati, Houston, please do. Please do. Especially the Detroit-Seattle game. Really. That was maybe the most exciting game like I said, there are a whole bunch of games I played. A whole bunch of games I played. So, and that may have been maybe the most exciting game. It really was an instant classic. It really was. It really was an instant classic. Wish there was a way to change my camera from one camera to another on YouTube. I know there is. I just don't know how. I'll see here. I know it does, doesn't it? That's the thing. That's the thing about it. That's the thing. Payoff Pitch gives you lots of good games. I'll be honest. I just, it really is, as I watched, I watch a lot of Inside Pitch. Earl at Tabletop Baseball Plus does Inside Pitch. And of course he does his Stratomatic, and Al Red Sox Fan does his Stratomatic. And I just, and they're both excellent. They're both excellent game engines. I know they are, but the Payoff Pitch games I'm getting are incredible. They really are. I don't see much of those games from Inside Pitch. I really don't. I don't see much of the excitement from I get from an Inside Pitch game. Stratomatic, I have seen that. I have seen some good Stratomatic games, but not as many as I'd like to. APA is another interesting game engine. APA is another interesting game engine. And, and APA, the problem I have with APA is pitching is abstracted. I have a real problem with a game engine that abstracts the number one fundamental of baseball, and that's pitching. Because it starts with the pitcher. It doesn't start with the batter or the fielder. It starts with the pitcher. I just have a little issue with APA. Although every time I watch APA Brian and his channel every morning, which I do, happily with a cup of coffee, because I love watching his games. For some reason I get the subliminal message for me to purchase a copy of APA, and I have to fight it every time. APA is every season. The one thing I like about APA is they have every season. They have every season available from 1901 to today, but it's a totally chart-driven book, so I have to look at the book every time. Replay is another thing I have an issue with. Replay. The replay PC version is outstanding. That'll admit it's outstanding as a replay unit, but I don't like the mechanics of replay. It's another chart-driven game. It really is. It's another chart-driven game. I'm not really happy. And Inside Pitch is actually chart-driven in many ways too. Okay, it's replay is inside pitch is slightly chart driven by depending on if a runner goes to first or does he go to second or is there a ground out or is it this, and sometimes, and even Earl said sometimes you got to make 3 dice rolls in order to got to make 3 dice rolls in order to resolve a play. Hey, 95% of the dice rolls, guys. That's going to be, that's actually be a wheelhouse, and that's a 30. That's going to be a wild pitch, and it's gone. That's it. That's it. 1 dice roll. That's it. 1 dice roll. And if I absolutely have to, and if I do have to, yank a card from the fact deck. And there's my charts. My charts are right here. The charts are all right here. There's only a couple of charts that the fact deck doesn't deal with, and that's infield in, hit and run, and that's pretty much it, really. Everything else is all dice. I only have to roll the dice once, and I use the cards for every other roll. I was getting a little tired though of drawing 2 cards for the D6 for the rare plays. So I grabbed a couple of red and blue dice and said, from now on, when it comes to the rare play, I'm going to just roll an extra spread of dice. The red dice always red first. So rare play. Okay, 63 on that chart. And by the way, Bleacher Bum, Anthony, that I know you got a rare play chart that you use, I think, for your new upcoming Glory Days baseball. I really would like to see that. I would love to see that. I know you're probably waiting. Yes, I really would like a copy of that. I really would. Because I'll be honest, the chart that I'm using for rare plays, this is a new one made up for the guy, and it's good. It really is. But the problem is some of the rare plays that are on this chart could really just some of the here that are on this chart are really just basic baseball players if you look at it. Okay. Some of them are. I mean, some of them are. Some are not. I mean, you got your triple play. You got a couple of inside the park home runs. Fan reaches out for foul ball, that kind of thing. Ball drops for an error. But some of these rare plays are meh. That's the only issue I had a little bit with it. Some of the rare plays are kind of meh. So, I mean, I like them. It is better. I feel there's more of a. I feel there is more than more rare play value on those charts, and there is. Here, I'll give you my email address here. There you go. That's my email address right there if you want to do that. Bartman and Fears Lalu, rare plays. Exactly. It happens. I mean, yeah, it does happen. So, but the thing was, I just, I wanted a little bit more from what he has. Now, Joe Bryan is doing some updating. He is updating his rule book. He's going to make a brand new rule book. He's sick and tired of stapled pages. And obviously his game has been taking off a lot better lately now. So now he can update his rule book. So he's going to update the rule book a little bit. He's going to update the charts a little bit. So he's told he might reword them, make them easier to understand. Is what I've been told he's going to do. I'm letting him take his time. He and I have conversed on many occasions so far, but this is his game. I tell him, I said, your brother, you go ahead and make it your way, and I'll follow your rules. If I have to add a few nuances to my game, I will do so, but I will follow his rules, as best as I possibly can. I believe in rules as written. If the game is written for that way, then that's the way it should be. For instance, a couple of times, when I roll, let's say you got a runner on third base, and you roll, and it's let's say it's a tough fly ball, 1 out, tough. It's a tough 80. It's a fly ball to left field, 1 out. And I think someone one time told me, said, you should still have a chance at a sacrifice fly. I said, tough pitch means all runners hold. He's not supposed to come through. Okay. And then, of course, I made the mistake on a wheelhouse where a wheelhouse run should have scored and didn't. So I said, I look at the rules again. I said, you know what? He's right. So he was 100% right. I was wrong. I should have went ahead and did it as a wheelhouse run. But the problem was I drew the card, which I really didn't have to. I did not have to draw a fast action card. So the rules are, if the rules are, if on a sacrifice fly, at least his rules are, although somebody did create an optional sacrifice fly chart, which he did, an optional sacrifice fly chart. I don't like it. I don't like it that much. I kind of like the way he has it hit. So I just think it makes it easier to get a play. It just, the runner seems to score too often and is out too often. So I just, it's not enough. So yeah, so wheelhouse and patient are good for sacrifice fly. Exactly. If it's tougher in play, it shouldn't be. I actually think in play should be like a patient, but I'm not going to change his rule. I think an in play should also be a sacrifice fly opportunity, but maybe with a negative applied to the runner, something like that. Maybe in play should be only a tough pitch. Really should be all runners hold, but that was up to him. At one point, I was using the alternate pitcher fatigue rule. Take the fatigue rating, times it by number of players, and like a fly ball B. Exactly, Tribe fan. Thank you there. Thank you, Anthony. Here the fatigue rating. Some guy did an alternate pitcher fatigue rules, right? Alternate pitcher fatigue rules, which I used for a little bit of while, and then I said, you know what? I'm going to keep with the rules that he has. So the fatigue rules, and then of course, then there's a whole chart. This optional get a jump chart I do like. And this helps me decide to make a steal. At one point, I wasn't getting enough pickoffs. The rule is on a pickoff. The normal rule is that, right, and the run from third is not automatic. If one of the rule is on the pickoffs is if a double six is rolled, the pitcher is supposed to have a pickoff attempt. My thing about pickoffs, if there's a runner out there with like a steal rating of D and no steal number, he ain't going nowhere. So I just don't see a pickoff play on a guy that just absolutely has no threat to steal. Plus, all right, as much as I thought about, fatigue. You're right there, Salvador. As much as I thought about, the pickoff plays, I said, you know what? I'm not getting enough pickoff chances. So how do I get the pickoff rule where it seems to make sense? I said, okay, fine. Here's what we're going to do from now on. If I like the ability to steal, and I just don't do the auto steal. I mean, normally, if the dice roll is supposed to be under the runner's steal rating. So the runner's steal rating is an 8, and I rolled a 7. That runner is supposed to steal automatically if I use auto steal. But in the rule book, though, Joe Bryan says you can use that, or you can just choose to steal, or use the jump, or use the optional get a jump, and you can use it anytime, and you can use it multiple times, and you can use any version you want of the steal in the same game if you like. He makes it very flexible, and it still works right no matter which way you do. I like the auto steal because that gives me the opportunity. But if the guy has a C running rate, as a C run, all right, as a C stealer, and he's going up against a catcher that's going to gun him down, I just can't see a steal occurring. And of course, I'll also take a look at the, what the circumstances is. It's an auto steal, all right? So let's say the team is down 7-1, and I got a guy that's on auto steal. You're down by 6 runs, you're not stealing. Okay, you need base runners. You're not stealing. You're going to let the batters hit and try to get back in the game. That's what you're going to do. All right. If you're up by 7 runs, you're not going to steal either. You just want to go ahead and get the game over. Try something. You don't want to get the other team any life on a throw out. So the rule I made up now is if a runner tries to steal and he does not get a jump or is forced to hold, I give the pitcher an attempt to pick him off. And then we go by the pickoff chart that is included with the game. If it comes up to where he attempts with a poor jump, I give the pitcher a pick him off chance first before he steals. Okay? because obviously he's leaning, so this gives the pitcher a chance to get him off. So the pitcher is now going to get more chance to pick off players at first base. It's still going to be rare. It's not going to happen all the time, but so I just thought it instigate that. Now for hit and run, I had one guy actually ask me, you don't do enough hit and runs. So then I said, okay. From now on, if a runner does not get an opportunity to, if he's forced to hold on a steal and a pickoff attempt is safe, he's safe on a pickoff attempt, then I will attempt to hit and run if I like the situation, which means, in my opinion, the opposing pitcher cannot have a tough quality on 6, 7, or 8. And the batter cannot have a strikeouts, in my opinion, worse than maybe 35. Because then I'm just asking for the pitcher to strike out the batter, and the guy's going to get gunned down, and I strike him out, throw him out. I'm still thinking about that. That's how I want to do the hit and runs. And I have done hit and runs. And the funny thing is most of my hit and runs have turned into base hits. They've turned into base hits. I think only once did I do a hit and run, and it became a wheelhouse, and I had to check the actual hit and run chart. Then there was infield in. Infield in I got a little confused about, but then I realized, okay, I just got to read it more clear, read infield in more clearly. So I decided on some of those nuances, but the thing about it is that the game still turned out correctly. There's been no cheating. There's been no cheating in any of the games. I've not taken any runs away. Have I made mistakes that's cost a couple of games? Unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately, yes. And one comes to mind, actually, the St. Louis Cardinals and the New York Yankees in a runner-up series game. The Cardinals were I think it was this game here. I think it was game 2. I'm not 100% sure, but it was game 2, and a wild pitch was thrown. A wild pitch was thrown, and I immediately said, okay, it's a wild pitch. The runner goes to second, I roll again. I reread the rule, and then I found out, no, if a wild pitch is thrown, the wild pitch occurs, and you use the same roll. You don't re-roll the dice. You don't re-roll the dice on a wild pitch. So if it's a 10 wheelhouse 11 or something like, if it's a 10, and it's a it's a 30, and it's a 31, and it's a 31, and that's in the wild pitch category. You resolve the wild pitch, so you move the runners a base. Then you use the same roll. You do not re-roll the dice. I actually had to ask Joe on that because I wasn't sure. Okay, and then I found out I took a triple away from the Cardinals. So the guy got a wild pitch, and then I took and I literally took away a triple, which could have made a big difference in this game. Then, of course, there's the extra strikeout, supplemental strikeouts, where 50 and 90. Okay, if there's a pitcher rated somewhere in the 50s and the 90s for an extra strikeout, and those are for pitchers that had like 200, 250 strikeouts in a season. It's supplemental. You don't have to use it, but I find out it actually does make a difference if you do. There's a big difference between grounding out into a double play, or on a let's say this is a 51, and the pitcher has a 50 to 53 strikeout supplemental. So let's say it's a tough 51, and it calls for the batter to ground out into a 6-4-3, and the inning is over. But instead, if it's a supplemental strikeout 51, okay, that's a strikeout, and the inning continues. See, that's important. And I feel that if he puts a rating on the card, it should be used. So even though I said it was optional, I said to myself, well, I can't call it optional if you actually put it on the card. It's something that should be used, and it makes pitchers strikeout pitchers a little stronger. So that's what I did for some of the rules. Some of the rules there. One rule I do is lineouts. Let's see here. Hold on a minute. Here, I'll go ahead and take lineouts here. Let's see here. Just something from the Cincinnati Reds from 1921. let's see. Here's Pat. Here's Pat Duncan from the 1921 Cincinnati Reds. All right. You can see on his out chart, he only has lineouts to 6 and to 4. This is on every single out chart. He only has lineouts to second base or to shortstop. Well, we all know there can be lineouts to third and first in the pitcher. So anytime an L comes in, all right, if it's a lineout, I draw a card. And if it's a 1-2, the pitcher gets the lineout. If it's a 3, it goes to first, 4 second, 5 third, and 6 short. That's all. Just to kind of get the other players involved. It doesn't change the result. The result is still a line drive out. Okay. The only thing I change is where it went. So that's what I do on lineouts, So only on lineouts, the only thing I do. One guy wanted to go ahead and change like the last digits of these numbers to something different, like a pop out, a fly out here, or a fly out here. Just the last digits. I said, well, that changes the result. I don't want to change the result. I want to just change where the ball went. So, as you can see here on like Pat Duncan's card, bunt ratings and such. This is just for 1921 Cincinnati Reds, which is the next team, by the way, that the 1921 Cardinals have to play when Anthony at Bleacher Bums Gaming gets off his butt, decides to play a Yankee game. Oh, sorry. My bad. I said that out loud, didn't I? It's okay, Anthony. We move at your pace. I don't care if it takes 2 years to do that season. I got my own season going on, and we're about to end. We made the postseason now, so now we're in the playoffs. We got some great playoff action coming up tomorrow. Yeah, I use my outside voice, and I hate it. I hate it when it does that. We got some very good playoffs coming up. Postseason American League wildcard playoff. We got Seattle at Baltimore tomorrow night. It's going to be Randy Johnson versus Mike Mussina. How can you not get excited for a game between Randy Johnson and Mike Mussina? How can you not get excited for that? That is going to be, I don't know, that's going to be a fun game to have with both those pitchers. I think that's the best game of these two of the wildcard playoff. Randy Johnson and Mike Mussina. What a great pitching matchup for a one game playoff too. For a 1 game playoff. The Giants Astros is pretty good too. Bill Swift versus Doug Drabeck. Now I know Drabeck just pitched the unit versus the Moose, exactly. Now I know Drabeck just pitched for the Astros yesterday. As I said yesterday, I'm resetting all fatigue. So everybody is fresh. Everybody's ready. It's the playoffs, and everyone's set to go. So everyone's fresh. However, I do have 4-man rotations for each team, and I will follow them strictly. So I'm not going to do no 3 days rest, that kind of crap. All right, it can be 4-man rotations. 4-man rotations for each team. I've chosen their best pitchers according to, and well, not just the best pitchers, the pitchers that pitch the most. So the most at bats, okay, for the players is who's being used. Of course, if they were not on the team at the end of cancellation, they're not there. For instance, I did have a game with Jeff Facero with the Montreal Expos earlier in the restart. He was not on the team; he was hurt, so I should never have used him. So after checking with Out of the Park Baseball and Action PC Baseball, I got the correct rosters, and everyone's got a 26-man roster. Not a 25. We're doing 26. Makes it easy. 13 pitchers, 13 batters, or 14 batters, 12 pitchers if there were not enough pitchers. Because remember, you got to realize one thing. In 1994, some teams were not able to do September call-ups. If anyone's ever purchased the 1994 season, which is excellent, of course, as you've seen, some teams have only maybe a total of 30 players, 31, 32, and some maybe have like 38, 39, 40, okay? Not because Joe Bryan didn't want to put those players in, it's because there were no September call-ups. They never got there. They never got to September. So, they never got there. So I created 26-man rosters. We'll be fair as possible. Now, as far as pulling players, like for substitutions and stuff, from now on, now I pull the best pitcher or best batter available. I don't care how many at-bats he had. The regular season is now over. This is now the playoffs. I don't care how many at-bats. If this guy batted 500 with only 2 at-bats against lefties, guess what? He's going to the plate. All right? This is the playoffs. Now there's no holds barred. Okay? Then there's injuries. I will do injuries. Yes, I will do injuries. If an injury occurs, I will do injuries, unfortunately. There will be no rainouts. I'm not going to do any rainouts either. I'm not going to have any rainouts. The series, we're going to do one series at a time. I'm not going to stagger the series. Do one series at a time. I can already tell you pretty much the schedule of how it's going to go. Pretty much, let's see here. Pretty much I can tell you how it's going to go. The reason why I'm doing it is because we're just going to roll it out, get it done. Series schedule, however, we're going by the team with the least amount of wins, the home team with the least amount of wins first. That's why Seattle and Baltimore got called first, because Baltimore had 93 wins. Houston has 97 wins. So I give the Astros an extra day. All right. So, because they're the host team in the National League playoff. So Baltimore would be hosting Seattle. Then, of course, we have San Francisco and Houston. Atlanta has 100 wins, and the White Sox have 95 wins. So the next series we're going to do is going to be the American League Wild Card Series, and we're going to do and of course that's a best of 3. So we do that series, and then we'll switch back and we'll do the National League Series against Atlanta. And then I can already tell everyone that the next series after that, I believe is 98 wins, and that's Cincinnati. So probably the Cincinnati Reds series, all 3 games. That's correct. All 3 games in one park. If you're the number 1 wild card team, you get all 3 games in one park. That's correct. So Seattle goes to Baltimore, and whoever wins that has to play the White Sox 2 to 3 games in their park. Same goes for Atlanta at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. That's how we're doing it. I think that's how they should do it for real. That's how you should do it for real. I mean, this year you got 16 teams going into the playoffs, which I kind of think is ridiculous, but fine. It's only a 60-game season, so you want teams that get ratings to get into the playoffs. If they get off to slow starts, okay. I understand. Fine. But really, I think it should be that way. The 3 division winners and the 2 wild cards, and the wild card team with the best record hosts a best of 3. It should not be a one-game series for all. It should not be a one-game series for all the marbles. You don't play 162 to play 1. Now we are doing that this year. We're doing that in my games. But we got 6 teams in the playoffs in each division. We got 12 teams. That's why I'm doing it that way. So I like that way. I like it that way as math. This is the way it should be. Top 2 teams each division. Screw wild card. Really, I really screw wild card. Top 2 teams get in. That's what I think it should be. It should have been that way. I'm surprised baseball never expanded the playoffs years ago when you only took the. But then again, baseball is on a timer every year, because baseball cannot be played in cold weather unless, of course, you're the Cleveland Indians against the Florida Marlins in 1997 in that ice cube of a game that was played. What was the temperature, in the 30s? You don't play baseball in the 30s. 30-degree weather is ridiculous. But you can't really play baseball in cold weather. So, so baseball's on a timer. That's why they get these games. That's why they can't have too many teams, because you can't let the playoffs go into mid-November. Plus, another reason why baseball is an issue, the NFL. Because when we get into November, the National Football League is now going into its playoff push. half of the season of the NFL is over, and everyone's now thinking playoffs and positioning. So November, the Major League Baseball kind of takes a little bit of a back seat. And there's college football. College football in November, rivalry month, okay? All the big rivalries are played in November. Alabama, Auburn, Ohio State, Michigan. I mean, some of the rivalries, of course, are played in October. Red River Shootout, Oklahoma, Texas, and that. But, yeah, not exactly. 38 degrees game time temperature with a wind chill of 18. Yeah, that's ridiculous. That is, can you imagine a game in Minnesota, in Minnesota? Can you imagine a game in Minnesota? Hello, everybody. This is Robert from RJL 518. Welcoming you to Game 7 of the 2020 World Series here at Target Field. It's a beautiful day here at night in Minnesota. It's a balmy 10 degrees below. It's a balmy minus 17 degrees below zero with a wind chill of minus 30. You can't play baseball in that. Nobody can grip the ball. The pitchers couldn't grip the ball. Batters couldn't swing correctly. You can't play baseball in that. Minnesota gets pretty cold up there in November. So I understand baseball's on a timer. And yes, you're right, Salvador. I like it when the rivalry games ended the season. Exactly. I love college football. College football is great. I love it. It's my favorite sport. It's my favorite sport. And the Juice joins me today. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us here at RGL 518. It's just, I just think, like Bengals Chargers 82, 82 AFC title game. Oh boy, do I remember watching that one, Tribe fan. You are so right. You're welcome, Juice. Thank you for joining me here at RGL 518. We're just discussing a review of the 1994 restart that I just finished and going to the playoffs tomorrow. Yeah, you'll watch a college football game over. Rick Vaughn, you and me too, man. And I don't care who's on. I don't care who's on. I don't care who's on. I mean, this Saturday, it stinks. This Saturday really was supposed to be the big start of college football this week. All right. I think I got Arkansas State versus Memphis, which I'll probably still watch a little bit of it because I want some college football. Brigham Young plays Navy on Labor Day. I actually want to watch that game. I'm also a Navy fan too, as well as a Canes fan down here in South Florida, Coronavirus Central. Speaking of that, by the way, I hope everybody is healthy, safe, secure. Hope everybody is healthy, safe, secure. I hope you're okay financially. I hope you're okay mentally, although I don't know about me. I do this crap, so I don't know about me mentally. Physically, hope everybody is safe. Their families, your friends, hope everybody's well. That's all I care about, I want everybody to be safe and secure until we can get through this stupid thing that's really ruined my whole year. Ruined everybody's whole year. I don't care what they say. Ruined everybody's year. 2020 needs a reset button. Need to push, reset, and start this year over again in January. This is somehow. But we're already in. We got September tomorrow, so I guess it's too late for that now. 2020 needs a do-over. It really does. But, yeah, I agree with you, Rick. I'll watch a college football game over everybody. Yeah, I know. A lot of people are, Salvador. I know, right? Might need the game over screen. Exactly. 2020. When Cammy Poo joins us, Cammy Poo 2915 joins me. Stand in line. You're so right there too, brother. Thank you. It's just. Needs on December 31, 2020, the whole screen, everybody's TV screen and computer screen should flash game over. It really should. And maybe January 1, 2021, starts a completely brand new year. We still got so much things to do today, this year. We're not done yet. Yeah, I agree. We need a mulligan. That's for so. Boy, do we need a mulligan. I'm sorry. I hit my ball and it hit the water. I hit my golf ball and unfortunately it got wet. I want a mulligan. Can I have a do-over, please? We got so much going on in America right now. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to insult anybody's feelings on that. I just want everybody safe, healthy, and secure. Okay, in our country and in the world, not just America. You know, we come to think here in America, we like to think we're the center of the planet. We're not. Let's give our hopes to everybody out there. You know, everybody. I don't care what color. I don't care what religion. I don't care what creed. I don't care. I want everybody safe. Hey guys, I got something to say. One thing I'll just say. All of us have something. All of us have something in common. I'm about to say something that is a fact and that is indisputable. Everybody, all of us have something in common. We all bleed red. Fight me on that one. Good luck. We all have something in common. We all bleed red. So you know what? Let's all get together. Let's fight this thing. And let's get back to work, okay? I mean, I've been out of work since March. And you're right, Salvador. This is our escape. This is my escape. I watched Al Red Sox fan do it. I watched Anthony at Bleacher Bums Gaming do it. I watched Sports Time Machine do it. I watched Tony at Cards and Dice TV do it. And I said, you know what? And I'm sick and tired of PC baseball. I did do an action PC game, if anyone didn't check it, in memoriam of Chadwick Boseman, a.k.a. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Salvador America, no. That's all I'll say there. But although I have nothing against the Red Sox, I'm a Mets fan, but no. But like I said, and we lost Chadwick Boseman this week. Colon cancer at 43. I can't believe it. So I did and remember he played Jackie Robinson in the movie 42. Great film. If you've not seen it, you should. I love Cammy Poo. He's awesome. But he played Jackie Robinson in 42. So I did on Action PC Baseball, the 1956, the final game of Jackie Robinson, which was September 30, 56 against the Pittsburgh Pirates at Ebbets Field. So I actually did that on a screencast and uploaded it. It's very short. Only took me about 30 minutes to play the game. So I did that in memoriam of Chadwick Boseman. And every time Jackie Robinson got up the plate, I said, here's Jackie Robinson, a.k.a. Chadwick Boseman, to bat. So Wakanda Forever, as I loved him. I love the Marvel Universe. I have all the movies. I enjoyed them. So in memoriam to him, I did that. But, all right. So, so that's what, that's pretty much what's going on. So that's what we're going to do here for Payoff Pitch. We have the playoffs coming up. And John Thompson, yes, I'm a Jim Boeheim fan from Syracuse, and I watched so many Syracuse-Georgetown games when in the old Big East back in the 80s and 90s. And back in the 80s, I said, oh, my God. And Georgetown always found ways to beat Syracuse. I like Jim Boeheim. I'm a closet Syracuse fan when it comes to college basketball. So, Big East, exactly. Big East in the 1980s was a man's game. And it was the best conference. The Big East Conference was the best conference at that time. The ACC is the best conference now, but to do the CFL. Now I'm not in the Canadian Football League. I tried to get into a little bit of the Canadian League. I just don't. Send 3 teams to the Final Four. Exactly. I mean, the Big East. The Big East in 1980s is now today's ACC. And the Atlantic Coast Conference is the Southeastern Conference of college basketball. There's no doubt in my mind. It's the best. Come on. Duke, North Carolina, Syracuse, Notre Dame, Miami, Clemson, Louisville. Come on. It's the best. It's, Wake Forest. Come on. It's the best friggin' conference in college basketball. So that's what we're going to have here. I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping it up. I didn't think I'd go an hour, but I just wanted to do something a little bit tonight. I was just taking a night off and said, you know what, let me just talk to everybody about some of the games we played and some of the exciting games. The Juice, you said you like retro games, get you hyped. Please check out some of the games on my channel. They're all some of them are 1994 games. I did a really exciting game with Detroit and Seattle here. This was an awesome game last night, which sent the Mariners into the postseason. Tomorrow night will be the American League Wild Card playoff between the Seattle Mariners and the Baltimore Orioles. That'll be at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Randy Johnson versus Mike Messina. Ooh, boy, just saying that sounds exciting. And then Wednesday we'll have the National League Wild Card playoff between San Francisco and Houston. Bill Swift against Doug Drabeck, also a good matchup. And then probably Friday we'll start the American League Wild Card Series with the winner. Whoever wins between Seattle and Baltimore will take on the Chicago White Sox in Game 1 there at Comiskey Park, probably, because that's going to be scheduled next after these two. Anyone wants to see what the lineups are, you can actually see them here. I also have them posted on Payoff Pitch Gamers Network on Facebook. Salvador America, TriFed 879, Rick Vaughn, Campy Poo, The Juice, Bleacher Bums Gaming, Salvador America, of course, Philip Reynolds, Tribe Fan 879, Brandon Baker. Thank you all for joining me today on your way on just a little get together. That's all. I'll say a measure of thank you to everybody, and I hope all your hopes and dreams are realized as we get done with this year. So let's get to the postseason. Should be fun. On your way through the turnstiles, please leave a like. Thank you very much, everyone. See you tomorrow for the American League Wild Card Playoff. Seattle Mariners versus the Baltimore Orioles at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Have a good night, everybody. Take care.